The Attack on Titan anime is finally over. After a full 10 years, the latest special episode finally completed the story of the conflict between two nations. Today, look back at what bothers many, and that is end itself. Anyone who has ever watched this series longer than a few episodes knows that Attack on Titan is an action, tragic horror, so it's very logical that horror movie has an ending that won't be happy. It's actually more bittersweet ending in this case. Of course, fans have always had divided option, which is perfectly fine in this case. The main focus of the final episode is Eren's goal to complete the rumbling, while leaving open the possibility for his friends to decide whether they will support him in this or prevent him from doing it. I really like that farewell conversation between Eren and Armin was changed and seemed a little more logical and more meaningful compared to the one in manga. At the very end, Eren managed to give his friends a peaceful and long life in freedom, without war. All this at the cost of his own freedom and life. Yes, regardless of the fact that Eren managed to remove 80% of humanity, he is not free in the end. The only person who is free in this story is Ymir, because she is no longer in the path. If you notice, the post-credit scene itself clearly shows that Mikasa, after Eren's death, continued with her life, but she waiting for him until the end. She was even buried under the tree to beneath him. Many years later, the tree grows continuously and was witnesses to many wars, from advanced to the most modern civilizations, because what we can see in the final scenes is definitely not even the time in which we currently live, but a much further future, as the end itself has a title, To You, 2000 or 20,000 years from now. It is possible that the post-apocalyptic period where the boy finds the tree is exactly 20,000 years after the end of the original story. Suddenly, it's obvious that circle continues again and the boy will become a new Finder Titan. What is extremely interesting in that there were not too many details about the worm that is the source of all Titan's power, Hallucigenia, that broke away from Eren for a period and formed the Titan army on its own, which only disappears when Mikasa destroys Eren's Titan. No doubt the Hallucigenia or Berserk parasite is still alive and waiting under the tree. Well, it is most likely Eren who is now in path instead of Ymir and is waiting for someone to free him. Here we come to the conclusion that Ymir was a slave, and in order to free her, Eren had to become a new slave, and Eren, in order to be freed, will find a new person who will free him as he freed Ymir, so that new person become a new slave. This leads to a continuous loop that never ends, just like a war can never end. Regardless of time, the human nature is such that as long as there are two people with different attitudes, there will be conflict without doubt. The story has an ending that is logical and does not deviate much from those stories that will happen in real life. The only fantasy element here is the power that the characters can turn into titans. Other details perfectly depict the real world in which the human population lives. Eren did everything to remove the power of titans from this world, sacrificing himself and 80% of humanity so that his friends could live in peace, knowing that in the future, cycle of hatred will repeat itself again and again. We also saw what would have happened if he and Mikasa had run away together. Whatever Eren does, it leads to the same outcome. Everything will happen again, and that's exactly what Eren saw as a dream and when he kissed Hisoria hand. Considering that Isayama modeled AOT on Mavlov, it wouldn't be surprised if we get an alternate ending in the future. The new opening and ending that will be used for separate episodes raises the possibility of alternate ending. Eren's eyes in some sequences are blue, where in the special episode they are green. The bones in the special episode are attached, while in the opening they are detached. In my opinion, if there is an alternate version, it is possible that Eren will have his own will, where his action will not depend on the will of Ymir, but he will take complete control over the situation. In that case, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Eren stomped the entire population outside Paradise, ensuring that outside world will never get revenge on them. Or maybe Isayama has an even better idea to save for a future project. Finally, there is also a possibility that all of this is actually an experience that Eren is having in the loop where he is in the path, so he can see what will happen if he made different decisions countless times. This theory will make sense because in the conversation with Armin, Eren says that everything repeats the same way no matter what he tries to do. The result is always the same. There may be an alternate solution that will happen maybe in a sequel or a movie. Anyway, Attack on Titan is a phenomenal story with a lot of action, unrepeatable moments and nice construction, rounded off with a logical ending, which is slightly changed compared to the manga but sticks to the original material. Can we expect a sequel? Well, it's possible. AOT has a strong fan base, marketing, so it wouldn't be surprising if we see a sequel or maybe a prequel in the future. That's all for this video. Don't forget to subscribe and support the channel. See you in the next video. Bye guys.